Hi folks, today we're going to be taking a look at the game Wizard Miners. In this game you are going to be blasting and digging your way through a mountain to try to be the first person to get rid of all of your mining cards. Now along the way you're going to be able to play spells onto your wizard opponents, and you're also going to be rolling dice and being able to play dynamite and things like that. So let's take a look at it. Okay everybody, here we go. I'll just go ahead and introduce a few of the components to you and go over more of them as we go along. Right over here is your mining deck, and what you're going to be trying to do is you're going to try to be the first person to deplete this deck. These cards basically represent a certain number of gems. This says 1 gem, this says 2 gems, this says 4 gems, and the gems are over here. Each of the gems are going to be worth a certain amount of points. The yellows are worth 1, the greens are worth 5, the pink purple ones are worth 3, and then these are going to be worth 10 points. In the very beginning of the game, everybody is going to be receiving a starter card, and there's 4 different decks, and this one's going to have a number on it. Throughout the game, you're going to be rolling these dice over here, and anytime you or somebody else rolls a number that is on this particular card and later on the tools, then you're going to be able to mine cards. On top of this, we also have these little markers over here that you're going to be placing on tools in certain situations. And I'll talk about how that works here in a little bit. And over here you have what is called dynamite. You'll be able to buy this and play it on your opponent and try to affect what is called their cave-in roll, which is going to come later. In the middle of the deck there is going to be what is called the cave-in card, and whenever a player turns up this card, you're going to go ahead and turn it over, and then I'll explain a little bit more about how this works in the review. Right over here we have the wizard cards. These cards are action cards, and you can play these on your opponent. Here's one that says mine 3 cards, so you can play this for yourself. Here's another one that says out for repair, cast or selected tool out for next roll. And I'll talk about the tools here just a bit. But anyway, you can play these cards on yourself or on your opponent. On top of this, you're also going to have the option of buying tools. Buying tools is going to allow you to mine more cards if these numbers are rolled over here. And this is how much it's going to cost in gems to get. And here's what you have. You have the pick, you've got the shovel, you got the hammer, you have the drill, and you also have the chisel. Now there's also 2 upgrades per tool, and once you're able to get the base tool, you'll be able to upgrade. Here's a big drill, for example. This will have more numbers. And then after the big drill, you'll be able to, and after the big tool, you're going to be able to upgrade to the great drill. So you could have something like this, where you purchase the drill, and then later on you'll purchase the big drill, and then later on after that you'll purchase the great drill. And anytime these numbers are rolled, this is going to allow you to mine more cards. So when it is your turn, you're going to go ahead and have 2 choices. You're going to have a choice whether to dig or not to dig. If you decide to dig, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have an opportunity to cast spells, and everybody is going to be receiving 2 spell cards in the very beginning. People are also going to be receiving a certain amount of gems depending on which of these cards that they have. For my card, I'm going to go ahead and receive 4 gems in the beginning. So I'll have this, and then I will go ahead and have this. So I've went ahead and declared that I was going to go ahead and dig, so I'll have this up here. The next thing I'll be able to do is I'll be able to cast spell cards. So right now I'm not going to go ahead and cast any cards, but I will have that option later on if I would like to. Now I've got a couple of options that I can do, and I'll go ahead and go with the first option. What I can do for option 1 is I can go ahead and purchase a tool. So let's just say I decide I'm going to go ahead and purchase the drill and place this in front of me, and then I will go ahead and pay the jewels necessary to go ahead and collect the drill. Next, if I would like to, I can go ahead and purchase dynamite. I can purchase up to 3 of these, and these cost 2 gems each. I'm not going to do that right now though. I'll also be able to purchase a maximum of 3 tools per turn. So after I've done that, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and roll these 2 dice and see what I get. I'll be able to cast spells up until the point where I roll the dice. I've rolled a 9. So I'm looking over here at my numbers and I don't have anything. So what's going to happen in this case is I'm going to go ahead and draw a spell card, and that is going to signify the end of my turn. So let's go back a little bit, and let's just say I happen to roll an 11. So this is going to allow me to mine 3 cards because I have an 11 here and here and here. So I'll go ahead and mine, and it says 2 gems. So I'll go ahead and take 2 gems away. I'll draw another one, and it says 3. So I'll go ahead and put this here. And then it says 2 gems. So I'll once again go ahead and place my gems over there. And that'll be what would happen if I roll the number. Now, if we go back to after I cast a spell and make the declaration to dig, that was the first option. There's a second option, and what I can do is what is called clean up. Cleaning up basically means is I'm going to be getting rid of these cards in the discard pile. What can happen is, whether by playing a card or through a cave-in, I might actually have to put these cards back on top like this. And if I do that, it's going to take longer for me to get through the deck. Plus, these cards are not going to count for gems. They're basically junk. So if I decide to clean up, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pay 1 gem per card I want to get rid of. And let's say I did that. Let's say I did that. And let's say I did that. And I will be able to get rid of them. And I'll be able to get rid of up to 5 cards per turn. Now, if I decide not to dig, which would be this, the only difference is going to be that I will be able to purchase 2 tools, or I will be able to clean up twice. So in this case, I would be able to clean up to 10 cards. That's really the only difference between that. Now, there are some cards on here that will allow you to enhance your tool, and this will add to multipliers. So let's say I happen to play this card over here, and it says enhance this tool for the next 3 rolls. So what I'll do is I'm going to place these markers over here on the card like so, and anytime a number gets rolled that matches one of these, it's going to add 1 to the multiplier, which means instead of drawing, if someone rolled an 11, instead of drawing 2, I would actually draw 4 cards from this card and then plus this one. So let's just say throughout the game we have a setup like this, and then I've turned up the cave-in card, which is over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it over, and you're going to see a little chart over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do what is called a cave-in roll. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and roll this, and let's just say one of my opponents happened to play 2 dynamite on me, and I had this 2 dynamite over here. And I'm going to go ahead and make the roll, and so I've rolled a 5. So what you're going to do is you're going to use this chart over here to determine how many of these cards you're going to be placing back here on top of your deck. Now, if you don't have any over here, you're not going to have to worry about it. But you'll go ahead and look and see what your roll is. I've rolled the 5, which is over here. I've got 2 dynamite, which is going to add 2 to the roll. And there may also be a spell effect that could add to this number too. So in this case, since the total is over a 6, that means I'm going to have to replace all of the cards that are here in my rubble deck, which is what it's called, back up here. Now, if it happened to be a 5, I would put 1/4 of the cards that was over here. So if I happen to have, say, 4 cards, 1/4 of that would be 1. So then anyway, that's how you're going to basically determine what you're going to be doing as far as a cave-in roll. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is this die is going to be added to everybody else's roll as well. So anytime you roll a 6, this is going to activate another cave-in roll. So what you'll do is you will just go ahead and roll this die and just see how many of these cards you're going to be putting back here on top of your deck. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and mine as you normally would. So anyway, that's basically the way the game works. And you'll just keep on playing until one person ends up depleting their entire deck of cards, and whoever is the first person to do that is going to win the game. And that, folks, is Wizard Miners. So my final thoughts on Wizard Miners. Well, card games are games that my wife and I like, and I think this is a good one. It's a very interesting theme, having wizards mining, and I like the little rule where you have to kind of get rid of your rubble, so to speak, before somebody has an opportunity or a cave-in comes along that ends up putting the cards back into your deck. So I do like that aspect of it. There is a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to the cave-in roll, because you have the D6 die and then you're going to be mining as usual. But yeah, it definitely adds a different element to the game because it starts to make it a little bit harder to get rid of all of your cards. So you have a lot of different spell cards that you can play on your opponents. There's ones that you can use to negate spell cards. You can take tools out. You can do a lot of different things. So that adds, I think, to the game. This is a game I would keep my eye out on if you are a fan of card games. This one's got a little bit of a take that mechanic to it. You're basically trying to shed out your deck of cards, which is reminiscent of Skip-Bo. So if you like those kind of games, I think you would like this one. All right, guys, that's my review of Wizard Miners. We'll see you later. Keep on gaming.